What would you do if everything you loved was taken from you in an instant? If the people sworn to protect you became the ones who tore your world apart? This is the story of Jamal Carter, a boy who witnessed his father's murder at the hands of dirty cops, and a man who returned 20 years later to seek justice in a city drowning in corruption. But justice isn't always clean, and the line between right and wrong can blur when the pain cuts deep. Would you fight for justice or give in to vengeance? It was supposed to be a quiet night. The rain drowned out most of the city's noise, and the streets felt emptier than usual. But in an alleyway just beyond the glow of the street lights, something sinister was about to unfold. A man, a father, a husband, a protector, was kneeling in the cold rain, his badge ripped from his chest. His name was Marcus Carter, and tonight his life was about to be stolen from him. Jamal Carter was just a boy, barely old enough to understand the cruelty of the world. But on this night, he would be forced to grow up. Hidden behind a dumpster, his tiny hands clutched his knees, and his heart pounded louder than the falling rain. He couldn't look away. He didn't dare. His father needed him. But what could a child do against 3 armed men? The 3 men standing over Marcus were no strangers to him. They were his colleagues, his brothers in blue, men who once swore an oath to protect and serve. But tonight they had become something far worse: executioners. Marcus had uncovered their corruption, their dirty dealings, their betrayal of the badge, and for that they had decided he couldn't be allowed to live. Dirty Cop 1 told, "You should have stayed in line, Carter. You think you're better than us? You think your morals mean anything in a city like this?" Marcus told, "I swore to uphold the law, not destroy it. I won't let you drag me down to your level." Even in his final moments, Marcus Carter refused to bend. He stood tall, even on his knees, his dignity unbroken. But the men before him had no honor, no conscience. They had power, and they would do whatever it took to keep it. Dirty Cop 2 told, "You're a brave man, Marcus. I'll give you that. But bravery doesn't mean much when you're dead." Marcus told, "If you're going to kill me, do it. But leave my son out of this. He's just a boy." Dirty Cop told, "What's that? Looks like we might have picked up a witness." Dirty Cop 1 told, "Forget it. The kid won't talk. He's got no one left. Let's finish this and get out of here." Jamal's heart stopped for a moment as he heard the voices. He couldn't move, couldn't scream. All he could do was watch as the men turned their attention back to his father. Time seemed to slow, the rain falling heavier, the world growing colder. Marcus told, "Jamal, if you can hear me, don't let them break you. Be better than them." And just like that, Marcus Carter was gone. A good man, a brave man, silenced by those who had once called him brother. But in their arrogance, they left behind something they couldn't have foreseen. They left behind a witness, a boy who would never forget, a boy who, in that moment, vowed to make them pay. Jamal told, "I'll make them pay, Dad, I promise." That night, the rain washed away the blood, but it couldn't wash away the pain. It couldn't erase the memory of what Jamal Carter had seen. And as the years passed, that memory would burn brighter, fueling a fire that no amount of time could extinguish. This was the night that changed everything. This was the night that set Jamal on the path to vengeance. They thought they got away with it. They thought the past would stay buried, but they didn't count on him coming back. And now, vengeance is his. 20 years have passed since that rainy night. 20 years since a child named Jamal Carter lost everything. The warmth of a father's embrace, the safety of a home, the innocence of youth. The boy who once hid behind a dumpster has grown into a man, and that man is no longer hiding. For 2 decades, Jamal carried that night with him. The memory of his father's execution haunted him like a shadow, never fading, never forgiving. He had tried to move on, tried to silence the screams in his head. But how do you heal when justice was never served? How do you forget when the men who killed your father are still out there, living their lives as if nothing happened? Jamal left the city long ago, but he never truly escaped it. He joined the military, hoping to bury his pain in training and combat. He became a soldier, a weapon, a man who could outfight and outthink anyone who stood in his way. But no amount of training could erase the rage burning inside him. And so he returned, not as the frightened boy who ran from the rain, but as a predator stalking his prey. The men who killed his father thought they'd buried their sins. They thought no one would come for them, that no one would remember. But Jamal remembered. He remembered every face, every name, every laugh, and now he would make them remember him. Dirty Cop One, the man who fired the fatal shot, the man who laughed as Marcus Carter's lifeless body hit the ground. He had retired from the force years ago, using his blood money to build an empire of crime and indulgence. He hadn't just escaped justice, he was thriving, but tonight his past was about to catch up with him. Jamal had spent years preparing for this moment. He wasn't rushing in blindly. Every move was calculated, every step deliberate. He wasn't just here for revenge, he was here to send a message, to let them know that justice was coming. Dirty Cop One told, "No one messes with me. Not back then, not now. I run this city." In the darkness, the predator finally revealed himself. For the first time in 20 years, Jamal stood face to face with the man who destroyed his life. And in that moment, the hunted had become the hunter. Dirty Cop One told, "Who the hell are you?" Jamal told, "You don't remember me? Rain, the street, the boy?" Dirty Cop One told, "No, it can't be. You're supposed to be dead." Fear. For the first time in 20 years, Dirty Cop One felt fear. The power he had built, the wealth he had amassed, it all meant nothing now. Because the child he thought he'd silenced had become a man, and that man was here for answers. Jamal told, "You're going to tell me everything. The names, the places, every dirty secret you thought you buried." Dirty Cop One told, "Please, I'll tell you anything. Just don't kill me." Jamal told, "Oh, I'm not going to kill you. Not yet. I want you alive long enough to feel what it's like to lose everything, just like I did." Jamal knew this was just the beginning. 1 down, 2 to go. The men who thought they were untouchable were about to learn the true meaning of justice, and they would learn it from the boy they left in the rain. Power, wealth, comfort. For 20 years, Dirty Cop One lived like a king. While Marcus Carter's son grew up in the shadows, hunted by grief and anger, this man thrived. He built an empire with the blood money he earned from years of corruption. And, in the safety of his mansion, he thought himself untouchable. But no fortress is impenetrable, not when vengeance is at the door. Jamal had spent years preparing for this night. Every skill he had acquired, every lesson he had learned, it all led to this moment. He wasn't here to simply kill a man. He was here to make a statement, to show them that their sins had finally caught up with them. Jamal wasn't the same boy they had left crying in the rain. He was a soldier now, a predator, and predators don't make mistakes. Dirty Cop 1 told, "Damn security's getting sloppy." Jamal moved like a ghost, his footsteps silent, his breathing steady. He had walked into war zones, survived ambushes, and fought battles most men wouldn't dare dream of. This was no different. This was his battleground now, and tonight, Dirty Cop 1 was the enemy. For just a moment, the boy inside him resurfaced. The boy who had once idolized his father, who had believed in justice and the law. Marcus Carter had been a good man, a man who taught his son to be better than the world around him. But the world had taken Marcus away. And now, Jamal had to decide if he could still live by his father's code, or if it was too late to turn back. Dirty Cop 1 told, Who the hell are you?" Jamal told, "You don't remember me? Let me help you. A rainy night, an alley, a little boy watching his father bleed out on the street." Dirty Cop 1 told, No, it can't be. You're supposed to be dead." Jamal told, "You killed my father. You laughed while you did it. And for 20 years you've lived like none of it mattered. But it matters now." Fear. For the first time in decades, Dirty Cop 1 felt fear. The power and wealth he had built, the walls he had surrounded himself with, they were nothing now, because the ghost of his past had returned and there was nowhere to run. Jamal told, "You don't get to die yet, not until you've told me everything, the names, the deals, every dirty secret you've buried." Dirty Cop 1 told, Okay, I'll tell you. Just don't kill me." Cowards. That's what they had always been. Men who hid behind badges and guns, who preyed on the weak because they thought it made them strong. But now, faced with the consequences of his actions, Dirty Cop 1 was nothing more than a sniveling shell of a man. Dirty Cop 1 told, "It wasn't just me. Dirty Cop 2 and Dirty Cop 3. They were in it too. They planned the whole thing. I just followed orders." Jamal told, "You didn't just follow orders. You pulled the trigger. You made my father beg for his son's life. You laughed while you killed him." "I'm not going to kill you. Not yet. I want you to live long enough to feel what it's like to lose everything, just like I did." 1 down, 2 to go. Jamal's message was clear. No one escapes justice, not even those who hide behind badges. News travels fast in a city built on lies, especially when one of its most powerful players falls. It didn't take long for the rest of the corrupt circle to realize something was wrong. Dirty Cop 1, the man who had pulled the trigger on Marcus Carter all those years ago, was out of the game, and the message left behind was clear. Someone was hunting them. Dirty Cop 2 told, "We should have killed that kid when we had the chance. He's coming for us, and now it's only a matter of time." Dirty Cop 3 told, "How did he even survive?" "We left him there. We checked." Dirty Cop 2 told, "It doesn't matter how he survived. What matters is that he's alive and out there, tearing everything we built apart." Dirty Cop 2 told, "We've got a dangerous vigilante on our hands, a man who isn't afraid to take out anyone who gets in his way. He's already hit one of our own, and if we don't stop him, he'll come for the rest of us." Lies. Dirty Cop 2 spun them effortlessly, twisting the truth to paint Jamal as a ruthless killer. It wasn't about justice, it was about survival. He needed to turn the system against Jamal before the truth about their crimes could come to light. Lisa told, "Do we have any actual evidence that this man is a threat to the public, or is this personal?" Dirty Cop 2. "Detective Morales, if you're not here to help, you can keep your questions to yourself. This isn't a debate. It's an order." They thought they could corner him, outsmart him, overpower him. But Jamal wasn't the same boy they had left behind. He had spent years learning how to navigate hostile territory, how to survive when the odds were stacked against him. This city was just another battlefield, and Jamal was no ordinary soldier. He wasn't just fighting back, he was sending a message. For every move they made, he had a counter-move. For every trap they set, he had already found a way out. They were playing his game now, and they didn't even realize it. Lisa told Jamal Carter, "I know you can hear me. I'm not here to arrest you. I just want to talk. I know what they did to your father. I know they're trying to silence you. But if you keep going down this path, you'll give them exactly what they want. A reason to kill you. Let me help you." Jamal told, "Why would I trust a cop? You wear the same badge they did." Lisa told, "Because not all of us are like them, and because I want the same thing you do, justice." Dirty Cop 3 told, "We need to leave. He's picking us off one by one. What if we're next?" Dirty Cop 2 told, "We're not leaving. We built this, and we're not going to let some kid take it all away. We'll find him, and we'll end this." Fear was setting in. The men who had once laughed as they killed Marcus Carter were now looking over their shoulders, wondering if every shadow held the ghost of the boy they had left behind. And they were right to be afraid, because Jamal wasn't finished yet. They had turned the system against him, painting him as the villain, but Jamal wasn't fighting for their approval. He wasn't fighting for forgiveness. He was fighting for justice, and no amount of lies or power could stop him now. The system was corrupt, and Jamal Carter was here to tear it down. Jamal Carter walked the line between predator and prey. Every action he took brought him closer to justice and closer to danger. The corrupt system was closing in, and the walls were beginning to tighten. But even in the darkest of nights, an unexpected light can appear. And sometimes the most unlikely of allies can change the course of a battle. She had been watching him for weeks, piecing together the fragments of his story. Lisa Morales was a detective who believed in justice, even in a city where justice had been bought and sold. She knew the risks of reaching out to a man like Jamal, but she also knew the truth, and the truth was worth the risk. Lisa told, "You don't need that. If I wanted to arrest you, I wouldn't have come alone." He didn't trust her. How could he? She wore the same badge as the men who had taken everything from him. To Jamal, the badge was a symbol of betrayal, of lies, of murder. But Lisa Morales wasn't like the others, and she was determined to prove it, whether Jamal wanted to believe her or not. Lisa told, "You've been busy. Dirty Cop 1 is in ruins, and the entire department is on edge. Dirty Cop 2 and Dirty Cop 3 are panicking. They're calling in favors, covering their tracks, and hunting you down. You've made yourself a target." Jamal told, "Good, let them come." Lisa told, "They'll kill you before you get to them. You're walking into a trap, and you're too smart not to know that." Jamal told, "I've been walking into traps my whole life. What's one more?" Lisa told, "This is everything I've found on them. Financial records, hidden accounts, connections to organized crime. It's not enough to bring them down on its own, but it's a start. If we work together, we can do this the right way. Expose them, get them locked up for good." He wanted to believe her. Part of him wanted to believe that the system could still work, that there were people like her who actually cared about justice. But the other part of him, the part that had carried his father's lifeless body out of the rain, knew better. The system had failed before. Why would this time be any different? Jamal told, You think this changes anything? You think these papers will stop them? These men aren't afraid of the law. They own it. The only language they understand is fear. Lisa told, and what happens when you're done? When you've taken them out one by one? Do you think that'll bring your father back? Do you think you'll be able to live with the blood on your hands? Lisa told, I'm not saying you're wrong. What they did to your father, they deserve to pay for it. But if you go down this road, you won't just destroy them. You'll destroy yourself too. Let me help you. Let's finish this the right way. Her words struck something deep within him. A part of him he thought he had buried long ago. For years he had lived for vengeance, letting it consume him, guide him, define him. But now, for the first time, someone was offering him another path, a chance to fight back without losing himself in the process. Jamal told, if you're lying to me, if this is some kind of trap. Lisa told, it's not. I'm not here to save them. I'm here to stop them, same as you. It wasn't trust, not yet, but it was a start. For the first time in 20 years, Jamal wasn't alone, and in a city as broken as this one, an ally, no matter how unlikely, might just be what he needed to finish what he started. Sometimes the fight for justice takes more than one man. Sometimes it takes someone willing to believe in the impossible. And, though neither of them knew it yet, this unlikely alliance would change everything. Every step Jamal Carter had taken in the last 20 years led to this moment. Every sleepless night, every scar, every memory of his father's murder, they all pointed him here, to a decaying warehouse on the edge of the city, to the men who thought they could bury their sins and escape retribution. Tonight, there would be no escape. They came prepared, as cowards always do, hiding behind guns and hired muscle. Dirty Cop 2 and Dirty Cop 3 had spent decades building their empire, climbing the ranks of the corrupt system they had created. But now, that empire was crumbling, and the man standing in the warehouse was the wrecking ball. Dirty Cop 2 told, "What the hell is this?" Jamal told, "This is justice." Jamal wasn't just a man. He was a shadow, a ghost that haunted their every step. He had spent years learning how to fight, how to hunt, how to survive, and now he would use everything he had learned to bring them down, one by one. They had the numbers, the guns, the power, but Jamal had something they didn't: purpose. They fought for money. He fought for something far greater, and no amount of firepower could match the fury of a man seeking justice. Dirty Cop 3 told, "Wait, wait, you don't have to do this." Jamal told, "Neither did you, but you did it anyway." Dirty Cop 2 told, "You think you can take us all down? You're just one man." Jamal told, "One man is all it takes to destroy everything you've built." Lisa Morales had taken a risk coming here. Jamal was no longer just a vigilante. He was a man on the edge, caught between justice and vengeance. She didn't know if she could stop him, but she had to try. Because if he crossed that line, there would be no turning back. Lisa told Jamal, "Don't do this." Jamal told, "They killed my father. They destroyed my family. They deserve to die." Lisa told, "And if you kill them, what then? You think this will bring him back? You think this will fix everything? It won't. But if you pull that trigger, you'll lose yourself, and everything your father stood for will mean nothing." For the first time in years, Jamal saw his father not as a memory, but as a man. A man who had fought for justice, not vengeance. A man who had died protecting what he believed in. And in that moment, Jamal realized that killing them wouldn't honor his father's legacy. It would betray it. Lisa told, "You're under arrest for murder, corruption, and everything else I can make stick. He had the chance to take their lives, to end it all with a single pull of the trigger. But Jamal Carter chose a different path. A harder path. The path his father would have wanted him to take. And, though the fight wasn't over, he had won something far greater than vengeance. He had won back a piece of his soul. The truth had finally come to light. For years, the men who had murdered Marcus Carter believed they were untouchable, their sins buried under layers of power and corruption. But no secret stays hidden forever. And now, the city was forced to confront the rot festering in its own system. Dirty Cop 2 told, "We killed him, okay?" Marcus Carter was going to blow the whistle, and we couldn't let that happen. We did what we had to do. Their crimes were undeniable. The evidence Jamal had collected, confessions, financial records, and years of buried secrets, was enough to dismantle the empire they had built. Dirty Cop 2 and Dirty Cop 3 would spend the rest of their lives behind bars, their power stripped away, their legacies destroyed. For 20 years, Marcus Carter's death had defined Jamal's life. It had fueled his rage, his pain, his determination. But now, standing at his father's grave, Jamal felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not because the pain was gone, but because he had done what his father would have wanted. He had fought for justice, not revenge. And in doing so, he had reclaimed a part of himself he thought he had lost forever. Jamal told, "I kept my promise, Dad. They didn't win." Lisa told, "For too long, corruption has plagued this city. The events of the last few days have brought to light the failures of our system and the abuse of power by those who swore to protect it. But let me be clear. This is not the end. This is just the beginning of rebuilding trust, of holding those in power accountable, of ensuring justice is served for everyone no matter who they are." Lisa Morales had taken a stand, risking her career and her life to do what was right. She became the voice of change in a broken system, using the truth Jamal had uncovered to light the way forward. And though she knew the road ahead would be long, she also knew it was worth fighting for. Jamal Carter had spent his life in the shadows, chasing ghosts and fighting battles most couldn't even imagine. But now, for the first time in years, he wasn't running. He wasn't hiding. He was free. Free to live, free to heal, free to become something more than the pain he had carried for so long. In a world filled with corruption and darkness, it's easy to believe that justice is a myth, a dream too fragile to survive the harshness of reality. But Jamal Carter proved that justice is not given. It's earned. It's fought for. And though his journey was one of pain and loss, it was also one of redemption. He didn't just honor his father's memory. He became the man his father always knew he could be. What would you do if everything you loved was taken from you in an instant? If this story moved you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story that inspires and challenges you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.